Dr. Langford, right? Yeah, sorry, just a bit paranoid today. You hear weird things all the time, right? Okay. Promise me you won't laugh or send me to some mental institute, will you? Alright, here we go. This was, I think, Thursday. I just got done eating at, Wendy's, I think. Yeah, I think it was Wendy's. It was a few miles near my house, like 2 or maybe 3. I never really measured before. Yeah. So, I got done with my food and headed out. Some guy was towing my car. I started running towards his car and yelled for him to wait. He didn't hear me. The bastard was on his phone. Oh, sorry. Excuse my language. I had accidentally left my phone in my work jeans at home, so I wasn't really able to call anyone, and a pretty shy person, so I didn't have the guts to ask someone in the Wendy's for a phone to use. So, I just decided to walk those 2 miles, or however long it is. Okay, so I started walking home. The city was pretty lit up, mainly by the street lights and the occasional car headlights. There were actually a fair amount of people walking my way. There was a businessman, there was a homeless man, there was a mother with her son, but I, I didn't see anyone walk the other way. When I mean anyone, I mean not one person. Everyone was walking my way, and I just found that weird, you know? Then I heard nothing. It was just dead silent. I looked back at where the people were, but I well, they were gone. I don't know if I was imagining people walking with me or if they were playing a prank on that one guy on the street, but there was no one. I turned back my way and started walking a bit faster. The silence was extremely and painfully eerie. I admit I was a bit scared. I started walking past a bunch of shops, clothing stores mostly, like, there was a Forever 21, a Gap, and I think a JCPenney. Then I walked past the, Belk, yeah, it was Belk. I was walking past it I, I got an eerie feeling. Like I was being watched. Closely. I looked over at the belt store and jumped slightly. Then relaxed. All that was there was a lone mannequin in a blue and red jacket with black jeans. I've had automatonophobia since I was a kid. 3, I think. It started when my father and I were in a Dick's Sporting Goods, and I was talking to him, I remember that, and I turned around, and behind me on the stand was oh, sorry. It was one of those mannequins with a male face, and it was wearing a jogging shirt and shorts. I was scared of my little mind at that mannequin. I had nightmares for a really long time. I still have them occasionally. I'm still weary whenever I go near any place with mannequins. I don't mind scarecrows that much, but I've still had my shares of nightmares with them too. I regained my senses and started telling myself that okay, it's just a mannequin. It wasn't going to hurt me. I kept walking, but I had to look back. Just to see if I was okay enough to turn my back to it. So I did. Nothing. No mannequins trying to follow me, no weeping angels reaching for me, just silence. Complete silence. I let out a breath, turned around, and started walking again. Although I wish I would have been able to see its face with no nose, mouth, eyes. Nothing. I wish I knew that it was facing me as I walked away. I started to see my neighborhood in the distance. It was pretty late, probably 11. My mom would get pissed at me. I'm still 17. Well, you know that, right? I mean, you read my info sheet thing, yeah. And I started getting that same dreadful feeling. Again, I started walking faster. And I heard it. It had rained all day Tuesday and probably all night on Wednesday, so the ground was still pretty wet. I thought it was probably me, so I stopped to make sure. I felt relief when it stopped when I did, but then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something that terrified me. It was still wearing the same red and blue jacket, the same black jeans. And it had the same exact expressionless face. I started backing up fast, and I blinked. When I blinked, it seemed to get closer. I blinked again, and then at 1 millisecond, it took another step towards me. I was scared for my life, and I was still backing up. Then something poked me in the back. I turned around and fell backwards on the sidewalk as I stared into a face with no features. This one was wearing nothing, but it still had no physical features anywhere. I turned back to the one that was a few yards behind me. He was right there, towering over me. I saw so many featureless faces around me. They were all frozen, looking down at me. I started to shake. I couldn't take it. I ran and charged for as hard as I could and didn't move. I don't know why. I felt a hand on my back and I screamed and ran. I ran for my life. I didn't turn back. I didn't want to. Sorry. I made it to my house and near the beginning of the development. I barged in and closed it and locked it. My mother came out of the bedroom. Fire was in her eyes and she stared daggers at me. I hated that look. I hated the way she always stared at me. Since the beginning, she tried to put me up for abortion. My father was the one who talked her out of it, but she still hated me with every single nerve she had left. She started screaming at me and hit me with the dough roll she had in her hand. It hurt. I just tried to reason with her, but she kept hitting me. I saw it behind her. It seemed to stare into my soul, even though it had no eyes at all. Nothing, actually. I looked at my mother, and every single memory of the hitting, the screaming, the cutting, I just looked away. And then I heard her screaming echo in my ears. And then it cut off. That was my favorite part. So, that's what happened. I still see them following me, and although they never hurt me, and even saw a scarecrow look at me while driving, he waved at... What the hell? You're laughing? Don't you dare laugh at me! This is true. What? Oh, the automatanophobia? That's not it. I'm not crazy. I'm sorry. Just... This your family? Yeah. Listen, I'm sorry for your family that they have to endure this. All in good time. All in good time. You know, sometimes I just like to lay back and close my eyes. I love this part.